Howdy, brothers.
Welcome back to yet another episode of Whiskey and Water.
I'm your co-host, Jess.
And I'm your co-host, Liv.
And we are once again doing a super solo episode.
Super solo, but not that solo because there's two of us. But welcome back. We're happy to be here. This week's episode, we are going more of like the personal life route and spilling some tea for you guys, honestly.
Yeah, this is something, and I hate when people like fucking tease shit and it's like not anything like huge, or when they're like, working on something really special, can't wait to share with you guys. Like,
secret.
I fucking hate that shit. But this is genuinely something that I've been going through.
This is Jess's story.
My story. This is something that I've been going through.
Nothing bad.
For
Nothing
the past, bad. Yeah, for the past like
year.
Yeah, a year or so. Yeah. And yeah, we're just gonna kind of tell you guys about it. This is the first time that I'll be sharing about it whatsoever.
This is the only platform she'll be sharing it on.
Yeah, like I won't be sharing this onto my Instagram simply because
they're not the brothers.
Yeah,
y'all are really our inner circle.
My Instagram followers don't need to be in my fucking business.
But the brothers,
I don't know. We were literally talking before this episode, and we were like, "You guys know so much about our lives that we'd like just wouldn't or don't share on our like Instagrams because it's just like such a different platform." And I don't know, maybe I'm just an oversharer when I talk.
No, I don't think so. I think this is like in a lot of ways our safe space, like this podcast and this audience, because if you're showing up week after week, like you have such a like genuine sense of us as people and our personalities and our intentions.
Yeah.
So I feel like we just feel, like safer here than on the internet where there's trolls and people who don't know us and people who come for us.
Exactly. Like,
so y'all are our safe space.
We actually I don't think we've ever gotten trolled from an episode, which is interesting. Whereas like on TikTok and on Instagram, we get trolled all the time. But it's because here you guys truly understand like who we are and our intentions and whatnot. So yeah. Anyways, that's why I won't be sharing it anywhere else. And you guys are the first to hear about it.
Secret.
But before we get into it, let's do our little segments. So we'll do a high and low and a deep dive. And a deep dive is where we go into a collaboration that we're currently working on and what the deliverables are, what the rate is.
How we got it,
all that good stuff, because we believe in rate transparency. I hate that.
Boom, boom, boom.
We got to change that.
Well, make it a jingle.
That's exactly what I do not want.
That's the opposite of what I want.
Yeah. All right. So you can do your high and low, brother.
Okay. So I'll start with my low, because we like ending on a high note.
Yeah.
My low, honestly, life's been pretty good. I've been super thankful. I've been super intentional. And the only low I have is like a moment of grief that I had last week. I had a slower week because Jess was out of town. So naturally, like we're together every day doing things. So Monday through Friday, I was just on my own, like doing stuff.
Well, what do you do when I'm not home? Wait for you to get back.
Literally. It was fun in the beginning, but towards the end, I was like, all right, bitch, get home.
Yeah.
It was good though. And it was definitely slower. I got a lot done that was on my back burner, but I realized that like it gave me space that I might have needed for like grief. Because I haven't.
I'm like, space? You need space?
No, but like towards the end of the week, I had like a really big breakdown crying about like my friends, and that happened like a few months ago, and I haven't really had another one of those breakdowns, and I'm like, the timing felt random.
Yeah.
And then I was like thinking about it, and I'm like, oh no, like I guess I just, because I've had this slower week, I just like had the space to feel this more, know. I don't know what it was. So yeah, that was my low. What happens, grief comes in ebbs and flows, and it's not linear, but it definitely was like a hard moment for me. Yeah. But my high is that I got to spend a lot of time with my mom last weekend, which was so nice because I haven't really like spent that much time with her, just the two of us. It's always like with other people or with my sister. Not that it's not amazing and even better with my sister, but it was nice. For so long, it was me and my mom as roommates and living together. Yeah. So it was nice to connect with her, and I just so happened to have the time over the weekend, and it lined up when she like really needed someone. So it felt good to be there for her in that way, and like kind of be her support system. And it was just nice, and I really enjoyed it.
Glad to hear it, brother.
Yeah.
I won't be doing a high and low because it'll be included in this episode. Like, it's just very like an overarching and It's very relevant to like what I'm currently going through. So we're just going to get into it then. Yeah. But let's do a deep dive. I'll get into my deep dive. I told you guys about this collaboration that I got with Bumble a few months ago, probably. I told you guys about it. And they like pushed it back, and then I was like waiting to hear and like was following up because they've already paid me my first installment, like the first half of the payment. So like I knew that they were like going to come through, but I was like just kind of waiting on it. And then she hit me up and she's like, hey, yeah, they're actually not releasing this like filter that they were going to use like for the, campaign, like on TikTok. It was going to be like a filter that I was promoting. So they're not releasing that. She's like, but we still want to do a collab with you if you can do a grid post and then like 3 stories. And the grid post was like, they wanted me to talk about like how Bumble, like they wanted me like talking, like just to the camera, like walking and talking about how Bumble like protects, their women, the people that are on the app, the women that are on the app, which is totally cool. I'm obviously so here for that, but that's not organic to who I am or like
or the content that you post.
Yeah, exactly. Not to who I am, obviously.
Yeah, she's like, fuck women.
No, yeah. Fuck women. No, I'm not gonna like post that. Like that's not that's not my vibe.
It's not on brand.
Yeah, it's not on brand with me at all. So, and my rates for Instagram are way different than what my rates are for a single TikTok post.
Yeah.
So I had Taylor explain that to her and essentially told them that I would be able to do the TikTok of that. Basically the same thing that they were asking for, but TikTok is a way better platform for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll still do the stories. But they had provided me the stories already that were like 4 graphics. And I'm like, I don't want to post those like in their style. So I asked if I could redo them in my style. And they said I just needed to avoid like purples and greens or some shit. So it's an interesting collab because it took like a complete turn.
A lot of negotiating back and forth.
And it's, it is like a little annoying because I am kind of I'm doing the same deliverables. Like I'm still doing a TikTok, but I'm also adding in Instagram stories now. But at this rate, I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's just get it over with. Like we've been working on it for so long. And I think the TikTok concept is a little bit more simple than what I was originally going to do, which was like using a filter and showing how to use some shit. And I wasn't super stoked on creating all of that because I felt like it was going to be pretty tedious. But so yeah, that's what we ended up doing. And so they've, again, already paid me half and the whole collab is $2,000. So not a terrible rate.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting for you guys to hear because when you're like talking to these brands, you're not always just negotiating the rate. A lot of times you're negotiating the deliverables as well. Like it's
trying to find a sweet spot.
And sometimes it takes a lot of back and forth to find that. So just be patient and make sure that, you're being fair to them while also like not being taken advantage of.
For sure.
Okay, for my deep dive, I am talking about a brand called Kevin's Naturals. They are like a meal that you can buy from Publix, and I'm not sure where else they're sold. It's like a healthy organic option, and it comes with like the protein and the sauce, and you like just like microwave it or whatever.
Sounds gas.
Yeah, honestly, they look pretty good, and according to Tyler's cousin who tried one, they're pretty good. But it's funny because I saw them in Publix and I picked it up and I almost got it, not realizing that I was already like
you did that same thing with Slate Milk.
I know that I already had a partnership with them. So when
aligned.
When they sent the meals, I was like, oh, I've seen this brand before, so that's cool. The way I got it is through our manager Michael.
He's been getting us a lot of stuff.
I know he's killing it.
I feel like every time we come on deep dive, it's like. Got it through Michael.
We love him. We love that for us. So the deliverable is 1 in-feed post, and we knocked it out the other day at our studio. I just took a picture of it, and then the rate for that is $800, which is great.
Love that for you.
Very happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, honestly, a pretty simple, easy thing. The nice thing about getting deals through our manager is that he does all the negotiating. So, I don't really know if there was negotiating involved in that, but he pretty much comes to us and says, hey, is this brand of interest? We say yes or no. And then he handles all of that those other aspects. And then he'll give us the rate that they're offering or they agreed upon. And then he'll send over like the creative brief and everything like that, the contract.
Or he doesn't even ask us if we're interested at this point.
Yeah.
He just says like, you're doing this, pretty much.
Things that I think he for sure knows that we would want to do.
He just sends over the contract.
Here's the contract. I'm like, what is this? Okay, sure. Like core power yoga. I'm like, I have to take a class and do a post about that. But it's funny because he didn't even ask me about that. He was just like, here's your agreement. I'm like, okay, Michael.
We'll talk about that on next week's deep dive.
Yes. Okay, so that is our segments. Let's go ahead and get into... I don't even know.
Very, very interesting conversation.
A very interesting conversation. And we're not clickbaiting, y'all.
Yeah, we're not.
Okay, so let's just like start from the point A.
So I met this sugar daddy. Yeah! No, I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I stay fucking with everyone.
I wish.
No. So essentially, I was approached about a year ago by this girl I know who's a model in Miami, and she said, "Hey, babe, have you ever?" It's always "Hey, babe."
Boss babe.
Yeah, right. Guys, I'm actually part of an MLM.
Yeah.
I signed up with Monat. That's what I'm doing. That's
her journey. No shit, no hate, no.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry. To get to the point, she asked me if I had ever heard of egg donation, like donating your eggs to couples either that are, same sex and they can't conceive, or a couple, a heterosexual couple where the woman is infertile and can't conceive. I had heard of it before. I've been approached by multiple people in the past. You just get DMs and you're like, this sounds fucking sus, like whatever. But I knew this model and I had a pretty good relationship with her. And so I had her like explain everything to me. And, I said, listen, like put me in contact with your agency. And, if something were to align, then maybe I would take a look at it. And I was pretty much hit up like a couple weeks later.
Yeah. And we're sharing this with you guys because this has been like such a big like part of her year, like emotionally this past year, financially this past year, and we share everything with you guys. So it's like it feels natural to kind of update you on this journey that she's been going through and kind of just like what it's looked like.
Yeah, because it has been like
very emotional,
extremely physically taxing. And I think it's just really interesting for people to hear because it's such a like foreign sort of like concept. And like anytime I tell anyone about it, they're like, okay, what the fuck are you talking about?
They just want to know more.
Yeah.
They have so many questions.
And so I just figured I would, open the floor to do that.
We're spilling the tea.
So yeah, I've done it twice now. I just did my second time. I had the retrieval on Monday. I've done one donation in Miami and I did one donation in LA.
That's why she was in LA last week.
This most recently. And the first time,
I feel like maybe someone might be confused. Basically, what she has done is donated her eggs. Like,
I said it's an egg donation.
Yeah, it's an egg. Like she's working with an agency. The agency connects the egg donors with the couples who need the service and need the eggs.
And so essentially, they pick me out of a roster of people. I have a price named there. I think starting price for egg donations, I think it's like $7,000 for anyone that were to walk into a clinic and wanted to donate their eggs. I think that's what it starts, and it goes up to $60,000.
And for confidentiality reasons,
it's somewhere in between there.
It's somewhere in between, and she can't. You guys know we're so transparent about everything, but like contractually, she's can't share that number.
God forbid they fucking came after me, dude. So yeah, for confidentiality reasons, I won't be speaking as to, any other details like the agency name or anything like that. If you guys did have any other questions or were interested in doing it or pursuing this, you could of course message me privately and I will, give you every answer that I can to the best of my ability. But essentially, yes. And I feel confident speaking about it because it is my second time and
it's over now.
It's over. And I haven't gotten paid for the second time yet, but I will soon. Hopefully tomorrow. But so the first time I did the donation in Miami, and I'm glad I did it in Miami first because it is common to travel for this depending on where the family is based. And everyone in my close circle knew I was doing it. My mom is the one who picked me up from surgery day. So essentially what the entire process looks like, because that's what people are really, curious about is, so essentially I do an extensive amount of like genealogy, like testing. I had to do psychological testing. I had an incredible amount of blood work done. Spoke to multiple therapists, psychologists, lawyers, everything. Like, they were getting photos of me as a baby. They were getting photos of my family as children.
They requested these photos to see like what everyone has looked like through the different like stages of their life.
Of course,
basically the families are picking her based on her appearance.
Yeah. And any other credentials, like, my education, what I do now. I submitted videos so they know how I speak.
That's crazy.
They know like they have me on video, like they know my interests, like they're picking me as a person. Don't know why. Honestly, good luck, y'all.
Shut up.
If y'all got my eggs, good luck.
Shut up.
Good luck. Y'all got a good one. So extensive amount of, preliminary testing to see if I was even a match, which was actually really cool, because then I got to see like if I was fertile.
Yeah.
I got to see if I'm a carrier of any genetic diseases, which I am a carrier of 2 extremely rare genetic diseases.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I'm like smiling, thinking you're joking.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, oh.
You're like waiting for me to laugh.
Wait,
no.
What?
Yeah. I'm a carrier for 2 like extremely rare genetic diseases. Like 1 in like 3 million type shit. Or like 300 million. Yeah. Like the type of diseases that like.
Is that common?
No, it's extremely rare.
I guess, yeah, right.
Or is it common for people to have one up? I don't know.
Is it common to be a carrier of that?
No, but the only way that it would be able to affect me or a future child is if my significant other is also a carrier of that specific, extremely rare disease.
Wow, that is nuts.
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
What they can find out, like how do they even know I'm a carrier of that?
The science,
science.
That is. I mean, I guess it's your blood samples, right?
But what the fuck? Like, what are they pulling that tells them that?
What are they looking at?
Yeah.
My peanut brain can't even wrap my head around that. That's insane.
Yeah. So I did find out, which was really cool, that I am extremely fertile. Yeah, who knows how?
Hell yeah.
Because your girl hasn't gotten pregnant yet.
She's a breeder.
And I haven't been careful, to say the least. But regardless of that, that was like the preliminary testing. And then once I got through all of that, I almost didn't even get a chance to like think about it, because like all of a sudden it was like, oh, like let's test to see like if you can.
And then it was like, we're doing it.
And then it was like, all right, great, we're gonna start scheduling you. And I was like, oh, we're just going for it, I guess. And then I was like, I don't know. And they obviously they make me aware that I am going to have a child out there, not a biological child, and it's a completely anonymous process. Aside from them knowing how I look, they don't know my name. They make me completely aware that the child could eventually look me up on Ancestry DNA. It is possible that the child could find me later down the line. It's something I'm completely comfortable with, because I know that the parents that are going through these processes are they have to be, they're screened themselves. So they're, extremely loving, extremely well off.
Yeah, the child is going to have a good life.
The child's going to have a great life. Probably is not going to want anything to do with me. And if he does want to reach out for like health reasons or whatever it may be down the line, I am totally comfortable with that.
Or just to say hi.
Or just to say, cool, you're half of me, little motherfucker. What's good? Not
Crazy.
Half of me. You are half me.
Yeah, you're half of me. Yeah,
they're half me. Of me? They're not half of me. I'm half of them.
Yeah.
Whatever. You guys get the fucking idea. So yeah, it's a really, really interesting process. What?
Sorry, should I ask a question now or save it for later?
You can ask a question.
So I think
I'm opening up the floor.
I think for a lot of people, they would be curious about like, does it bother you knowing that you have a child out there? Is that something that you thought about with your future spouse when you guys have kids?
So yeah, I mean, absolutely. I feel like I'm on a talk show.
I'm interviewing you.
Yeah. So I mean, it's definitely something that I have 100% taken into consideration.
You have to.
You have to. And it's something that, I spoke about with people that are extremely close to me, like my mom, Olivia. I actually even spoke about it with my ex. Because if I feel like if I were to end up with anyone in this world, it would probably be him. And I was like, hey, how do you feel about this? Like, just from a normal standpoint. And he's like, yeah, it's like so fucking cool. And, you know, I've just spoken to people about it. And honestly, I've gotten zero negative feedback. And I really thought that like someone was going to be like
judgmental, maybe
judgmental, or like, oh, like, you know, I wouldn't want to date someone who has a kid out there or whatever. But like, it really has no bearing on my life. Like, and of course, if they reached out in like, you know, 20 years or whatever it may be, like personally, I don't mind. There are so many like legal things in place that like, you know, one, I would never be responsible for that child no matter what happened to it whatsoever. Like that child has pretty much nothing to do with me at this point. Like
other than their genetics.
And, you know, like, I don't know, I'm just confident in like, you know, myself as a human. And, you know, if I ever did need to deal with that, I think I would welcome it with open arms. You know, I understand the repercussions of what I'm doing. So no, it doesn't really bother me. If anything, I think it's like sick as fuck. Like, I'm a breeder. I'm gonna take over the fucking world.
He has apex genetics.
And I just think it's cool.
It's so
if anything,
cool.
I think it's really cool.
It's so fucking cool. Okay, continue.
So after, you know, the preliminary testing, you pretty much get into it. So they start me on birth control pills for about 2 to 3 weeks. I demand to do the least amount possible, because if they had it their way, they don't have necessarily my best interests in mind.
They have their best interest.
They have their best interest, and then they have the parents, the legal parents of the, you know,
them as in the agency.
What do you mean?
Like we're saying like they.
Yeah. So I really do have to advocate for myself, and it is a really emotionally draining process because it's like no one's looking out for me. You know, I don't have like a rep. The agency is interested in their bag, and, you know, the doctors are
working for the agency.
and working for the parents, the recipients.
Yeah.
Like, I am essentially just there to be harvested and fucking thrown, you know, like, are you good? Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Like, and it, like, I didn't realize
it feels like that.
It very much feels like that. And so I'm already a pretty sensitive human. And so it's just, you know, it's just emotionally taxing.
And when it's like in regards to your health too, it's like a level of invasion, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's so emotional. It's not like something you can be like, oh, well, like whatever, fuck off. It's like that. This is your health.
This is my health. Yeah.
This is your well-being, you know?
Yeah.
It's a vulnerable position to be in.
And there's a risk associated with this procedure. You know, it's not like a super low risk thing. You know, there is a level of risk associated. And, you know, again, I just have to look out for myself. So they put you on birth control, and then, you know, for 2 to 3 weeks to control your cycle. And then you start hormone injections, which obviously it's about as fucked up as, you know, you think it is. Like, I'm injecting hormones into my, you know, abdomen every night for about 10 days. And, you know, when they're selling this process to you, they're making it sound
like it's no big deal.
Yeah, they're making it sound so much easier and so much less painful than it is. They say, oh, you know, we're going to put you on birth control for a week, and, you know, you're going to do hormone injections for a week, and then you're going to do the procedure, and then you're going to be good after a week. I have been going through this fucking process for over a month now because they had me on birth control for 3 weeks because that's what they said that they needed to do. And then I had to do hormone injections for, I think I actually did it for 11 days, which I signed up for 7. You know what I mean? Like, having to do it like 4 days after that is so shitty because, like, you just get continually frustrated and you're pumped up full of hormones. And, like, you know, I had to give my team the disclosure and be like, hey, I want you guys to know, like,
us.
Yeah, like Olivia and Taylor and whoever else that is close to me. I'm like, full disclosure, I am not like entirely myself right now. My decision making, you know, is going to be clouded.
Is a little irrational.
It's 100%, you know? So it's like, it, you know, it affects a lot. Also, you can't drink during this time. You can't have sex during this time. And I can't work out during this time, which these are 3 things
wow.
that I love to do.
Stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. It's literally 3
It's literally
things.
my 3 favorite things.
Sex, drinking, working out. What the
Come
fuck?
on, that's my life.
Yeah.
Like honestly, the sex
Not
thing
the sex,
is, yeah,
but,
it's really
in theory.
In theory, in theory, it's one of my favorite things. I don't get to do it much, but so yeah, it's like
it's a commitment, it's a sacrifice.
Yeah, and again, when it's sold to you as a very quick, seamless, easy process, and then it's dragged on. Like my procedure was done
Tuesday,
like
Monday,
4 days ago, 3 days ago, whatever, like 4 days ago. And typically they say, okay, in a week you can resume back to your normal life. This motherfucker, the doctor told me 2 weeks. So I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I just want to get back to like
normalcy,
my normal life and my normal self. So just to kind of bring it back to like the procedure. So I start hormone injections, and it's extremely specific, and it doesn't feel good injecting yourself every night. Like, it's painful, and you start to bloat, and you start to have like side effects. You know what I mean? Like, besides being extremely hormonal, and like I cry a ton during this process, not only because I'm hormonal, but because it's like frustrating, like, you know, dealing with the appointment times. Like, I have to go into the clinic like three, four times a week at like 7 a.m. to do blood work and an ultrasound. Like, it's an extremely extensive process.
Yeah, and also I think what's interesting to note is that like legally it's not an exchange for her eggs. Like, technically in writing, it's not for her eggs, it's for her pain.
Because you can't sell fucking body parts.
You can't sell body parts. That's the black market. So what they're paying her for is her pain and frustration.
And it's like for
an inconvenience.
It's like, yeah, for your inconvenience and pain, essentially.
Your pain and suffering.
Pain and suffering.
Like,
yeah.
That's
literally what the contract says.
Yeah.
So
and pain and suffering it is.
Yeah, and again, like it's extremely specific. Like, it's really hard to keep up with the injections. Like, you know, I have to do them at the same time every night for 11 days. I have to do, you know, these trigger shots at like 10:30 p.m. and then the next day at 10:30 a.m., which I fucked up this last cycle. And it's just like a really like tedious, very specific process because you're on multiple hormones. And you have a full schedule. And then like, so for the first 5 days you do, you know, these 2 hormones, and then you up it to these 3, and then you take out 1.
Be like a nurse.
Yeah.
You're an at-home
I'm literally
nurse.
mixing my own medication and injecting it into myself. Like, it's the craziest fucking thing I've ever seen. And I think that I got really, really lucky because I have a good friend of mine who has done this process.
Yes.
Not the one who referred me, because I don't really trust her anymore. Like, I don't talk to her about anything egg related because
she didn't give you a transparent
She did
look
not
at the
give me a
process.
transparent look at this fucking process. So that being said, I don't speak to her about any. To me, I'm like, you're the agency. Yeah. Like, I don't give a fuck about you. Like, I don't trust you. Whatever. Not to say that she's a bad person.
She's just in her bag.
She's just because she's getting a commission of me.
Doesn't have your best interest in mind.
Exactly. And so whatever. I have a very good friend who's done this process 6 or 7 times, like the max that you can do it, who has been incredibly helpful, like with pretty much everything involved. Like, any question I have, she's like there for me. She's helping me out because she's done it so many times. Like, she's really helped me, like reassure me. Like, there's some times where I'm like, dude, I don't know how to tell them that I don't want to do this. And she's like, I'll write it up for you. Send this to them. And it's basically a big fuck you text. And, you know, being like, because there's certain things that once you learn after you've done it multiple times that you realize aren't entirely necessary.
Yeah.
Like, i.e., like certain shots on certain nights. Like, I fucked up one of the shots on one of my last nights because one of the nurses wasn't entirely clear on a 10:30 a.m. or a 10:30 p.m. And I thought it was a huge deal, was freaking out, was like sweating, having an anxiety attack, thinking I just fucked this entire thing up. I'm like calling the nurses. I call my friend and they get back to me and they're like, oh, it's fine. You can just do it now. Just do it later. When I'm 12 hours late, when like the email is like so specifically telling me like the time, you know what I mean? So it's like things they make out to be a huge deal really weren't. And my surgery was like incredibly more successful than pretty much anyone. Like, they were able to get so many eggs from me. And I hate even like talking about it like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, so it's like, it's a whole fucking process.
Yeah, it really is. And it's been so interesting, like, watching you go through everything. And it really just it's been invasive like for your life too, you know, because it does affect your mental state, it affects your physical and emotional state, and that
it affects work.
And that changes how you've been showing up, you know, for work, for mood, for the podcast, you know, like the times that the last 2 times that we've shared her low about her, like our arguments, like her being so emotional was because this was happening. And like we knew we wanted to share it with you guys. We just wanted her to be like done with the whole retrieval process so that we could talk about it, and she was done with it. Yeah. And another thing I think that people will find interesting is that like every time that they, you know, approach people to donate their eggs again, it's like it's a bit of a negotiation. Yeah. And she was able to negotiate more for the second
time, which, you know, I am kind of annoyed about because I didn't realize how much I could get both times. Yeah. And definitely undersold myself both times, not realizing one, how extensive of a process it would be, and like just not realizing that I could be getting, I'm way under market value for, you know, what it is. So, it's just, and it's been a lot. And like, so my first process went by like pretty seamlessly, like the recovery and whatnot. Like I was good, like same day. It's a really, really, really quick procedure. Like I'm literally in the OR for 5 minutes.
Let's talk about the actual procedure itself. Yeah. When we talk to our friends, everyone's like, so
what do they do?
Do you go under? Do they cut you open? Like, what does it look like?
So I go under like a certain anesthesia that like I'm under for like 30 minutes total, maybe, like from sleep to wake up. So it's like a really, really quick thing. I'm not like fully under. And, you know, I'm in the OR for like 5 minutes because that's how quick the procedure is. They just do
pretty like minimally invasive.
It's super minimally invasive. They just go in obviously through the vagina, and they have a little needle that sucks out all of my eggs, all my ready eggs. And you know, it's super quick, and then I'm done. And then I just need to rest for basically a day and a half after. So my first process went really quick. My mom is the one who picked me up from the clinic and, you know, drove me home and was with me all day and, you know, made sure I was okay. And I felt great like that same day. This process was not like that. I felt really good. Like right as I got out, my friend Kate is the one who picked me up, an angel, because I was out in LA. And, she's the one who picked me up. We went and got Chick-fil-A. I like felt totally fine. And then like even the rest of the day, like I was even going to go tour an apartment later that day because I felt fine. Yeah. And towards like, I think I fell asleep fine. And then I like could not sleep because the pressure just of like, I was just bloating like insane. Like I've never been one to bloat ever. Like I genuinely don't even know what that feels like because my stomach doesn't bloat. So my stomach was so tight, and like there was just so much pressure. Like it hurt to pee because there was so much pressure. Like I was so incredibly uncomfortable. And that was on Monday. It's Thursday now, and I'm just really now starting to feel better. I flew back on Tuesday with Nugget, and it was probably one of the, I wouldn't say worst days, definitely one of the worst days of this year. And it was just extremely frustrating. And
yeah, to have to travel while you feel unwell is like
with my dog, because you're not supposed to do anything strenuous, particularly right after. And I could feel every single movement, and it hurt. Like every step hurt. Like anything involving your core hurts like a bitch.
That's the like shittiest part of the whole process, because it's like the agency definitely should have kept you there for a few days to recover. Yeah. And the fact that they didn't just speaks volumes about like what they care about and what they don't care about. Yeah. Like, they don't care about you.
Exactly.
They don't care about you.
And so like I was like literally walking through the airport holding Nugget, crying, and just like going the fuck through it. And it was just super frustrating. And I was like bitching at them over the phone. I was like, they were like, hey, Jess, how are you feeling? I'm like, I feel like dog shit, you satanic motherfuckers. Like I was ripping them a new asshole. I was like, I don't know why I flew back today. I don't feel good. Like it was just a really frustrating experience. And whatever, it was a really hard day, but I was so happy to just honestly be home. And I still feel super fucking bloated and unwell. Like it hurts to like breathe in deep. Like it's just, not a great feeling, and I'm still like in that entire like recovery process. Like I still have like a week and a half of no working out and no having sex or anything like that. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
When the money hits the bank account, she'll feel better.
Speaking of, where is it?
So I have a question that I think most people would ask you. Is it worth it?
I would say,
or was it worth it?
I mean, it's kind of hard to say because I should have gotten more money.
Yeah.
And like I feel like I should have gotten more money. So like I'm a little resentful like towards that. Like obviously like the money is great and it's, you know, helping me like pay my fucking taxes, and it's like, but it's like it's not an amount, it's not a life-changing amount. You know what I mean? I mean, I guess for some it definitely would be.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But
for you and where you're at right now, it's not necessarily like gonna change. It'll improve your life, but it's not like a life changing, like winning the lottery.
Exactly,
like $100,000.
Yeah. So you know, again, I mean, I would say like it. I guess it is worth it. I would just want someone to understand know exactly what they're getting into and signing up for. And that's kind of even why I'm doing this, because like if anyone were to consider it, or like if a friend were to consider it, I would just send them this podcast and be like, okay, just know that this is what you're signing up for.
Did your friend who has done it 6 or 7 times, does she kind of co-sign that your experience? Like, do you think she was as tormented as you have been?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because when I felt super sick and like just unwell, I was messaging her and I was like, dude, I was worried that there was something wrong. I was worried that there was like free fluid in my abdomen, or that I was overstimulated, which is like a thing. And she's like, no, dude, like you're feeling exactly how I've felt each time. So I think I just got lucky last time that I didn't.
Yeah.
And I think this time it's just, you know, taking a little bit more of a toll on my body. But this is how she feels every time. Yeah. So like, I think that she knows exactly what she's signing up for. And also like, she's someone who started it at the rate of like 8,000 and increased every time from there. So like she was down for it at that rate. Yeah. Like, you know, the money's a little bit different for her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It hits a bit different. Yeah. And I think also another strenuous part of this process is like the scheduling and just trying to like live your normal life while also trying to stick to this really strict schedule. Like, for example, even when we were in the Bahamas, there was a day where she had to start her injections the day that we got back. And then we had an option to extend, and we had already asked for the extension from the hotel, just not realizing that she had to start her medications the next day. So then there was like this period of a few hours of, you know, us freaking out. Like, is she gonna have to push back this whole retrieval another month because she's starting a day late on the injection? She's like trying to call her clinic from the Bahamas, but we're in a different country. It was just like a shit show. And I think that is like, that's what you need to take into consideration, is like the inconvenience of like having to stick to, granted, if you like don't really travel much and you don't like have a lot going on, but like when you're, you know, trying to coordinate so many different things all the time and travel plans, it's like definitely a big inconvenience.
Also, not to mention, like my entire lifestyle revolves around me working out every day, me drinking on the weekends.
It's a lifestyle.
It's my like I'm literally like giving up the majority of my lifestyle, and it's, you know, also affecting my work.
That make you happy.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, there's a lot to take into consideration that's not like completely aside from putting a child out into the world.
Yeah, right.
So it's like,
it is a great opportunity.
It's like, it's worth the process, but I would say it's worth the process without even thinking about the fact that you have a child out in the world.
Right.
Like that should be an almost entirely different fee. You know what I mean? Like it's
it's like a baggage fee.
I need my fucking inconvenience fee, and then I need the child fee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It is. I do think it's a great opportunity for a lot of people. It's a great opportunity for a large sum of money, but you're definitely you're exchanging something for it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, oh, here's the free, you know, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you're sacrificing
a lot. And I would not do it again at this rate. And I already told them I pretty much doubled what I had gotten for this rate. I was like, guys, because, you know, they fucking messaged me during this process. And they're like, hey, we're
ready for the next one.
They said, another family is interested. All right, have you given any thought to if you would do this again and what your rate would be? I said, yeah, fucking double it, bitch. No fucking way I'm putting up with you dumb bitches again. And there was a situation when I was in LA because, okay, so, you know, I go out there, right? Like, they obviously pay for the accommodations such as the flight and like the Airbnb because I requested an Airbnb because I had Nugget. But I'm paying for, you know, the car, the food, etc. But they do give you a like
per diem,
not even a per diem, $1,000 flat fee to like cover it, right? And I'm thinking I'm gonna be out there for a week. I don't get that money till like day 4, day 5, and I'm like messaging them like, hey guys, do you guys know when payment's gonna be sent through? Blah blah blah. I'm getting radio fucking silence, which is so funny because anytime they need something from me, they're blowing my shit up, right? So I lay down the fucking law. I send them a gnarly ass message saying, hey, I'm pumped up full of fucking hormones right now that you guys are making me do. And you think it's okay to treat me like this? Like, you guys think that I won't go fucking crazy right now? Like, you're wrong. And so that had a whole like trickle down effect like through the agency. And then the lawyers even contacted me because the lawyers are the ones who have my money because it's put in an escrow. So like the agency, it doesn't have it. I don't have it. Like it's legally already there. So I know it's taken care of. And it's the 1,000 isn't a huge amount, but when I'm spending my own money to be there, I'm like annoyed because I'm like, why am I dipping into my own pocket to pay this shit?
Yeah, this shouldn't inconvenience me at all.
Not to mention,
financially.
I'm out there thinking I'm going to be there for 7 days. I'm out there for like what, 11, 12 days? So I'm like, okay, I had originally agreed on this 1,000 for 7 days, not for 12 days. Like that doesn't cover my expenses. My car alone was $800 because I needed to have a car while I was out there. Mm-hmm. So I sent them this like long ass message, literally bitching them the fuck out. I get a message from another person at the agency who messages me privately. They're like, I'm so sorry. Like, you know, there was like a miscommunication with the agency. Like someone wasn't checking the agency phone, blah, 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 whatever. The lawyer hits me up and they're like, hey there. So there seems to be a miscommunication or there seems to be, they said, someone has mentioned to us that you're unhappy that you haven't received payment yet. Payment takes 2 to 3 days and I was out sick yesterday. So it'll be processed in, you know, by Friday or whatever. And I got there like Monday and I was like, oh, no. I'm not upset. I said someone seems to miscommunicate it on my behalf because I never said that I was unhappy that I hadn't received payment. I was unhappy that no one had communicated to me. So imagine, set the scene. I'm out in LA, pumped up full of fucking hormones, haven't received the money for even being there yet. No one's responding to me. Yeah. I am
livid.
I am Satan reincarnated. I am, and imagine how frustrating that is. Yeah. You know, like I was so frustrated. It felt so taken advantage of.
And you're already, and this is already like the peak, you know, the tip of the iceberg. This is already after so much of like, you already resent them so much.
Yeah, because they fucking suck.
Yeah.
So, and I honestly do get that they're just doing their job. Not to say that they couldn't do a better job. But I understand that, like, they're just, like, coming into an office and, like, doing their fucking day-to-day work.
It's not their life.
It's not their life. Like, it's my fucking life that's, like, literally at stake here. And so, you know, like, it is a super sensitive topic for me. And I say that disclaimer every time I send one of those messages. I'm like, hey, guys, because at this point, this is my second donation with them. They know who the fuck I am. They know I don't play that shit. So I'm like, hey, guys, full disclosure. What I do is I put them in my shoes. I literally say, hey guys, let me set the scene for you. You guys flew me out here. I'm already hundreds of dollars deep from having to pay for my food, my groceries. My Uber was $100 from the airport to just to get the car.
They're just not coming correct.
They're not coming correct at all. And you guys know. we hate it when they don't come correct.
One thing about us is we hate when they don't come correct.
So I like do my best to like rehumanize myself in their eyes. And be like, hey, I'm not just like this cow that you're milking. You know, I'm a human and this is my life here.
Yeah. You have to remind them that this is like a real life. Like,
yeah.
And they're working with so many probably different girls that it's just like you're just another like number to them.
No,
you know
100% I am. So again, all this to say that it is like an extremely emotional process. And, this is what I have been, and it's a long process, like, from start to finish, it's a few months. And given the fact that I've done it twice in the past like year, it's like taken up a good chunk of like my life and my time. And
I was thinking the other day, like, you're going to look back at this, like, this is a period of your life where you're donating your eggs. And like, when you're older, you're going to look back and be like, remember that chapter of my life where I was like doing that and going through that and like,
hating my life,
hating your life, but making some good money in the process. And it's just interesting because it's like,
and don't get me wrong, there is a part of this that's extremely rewarding. And I am extremely honored to be able to do this for a family. And that's honestly the part that I hold on to the most. Like, because if not, I'll be extremely resentful.
Yeah.
And that's really just like, it's a natural place to be at that point. But I try to be like honored that this family has chosen me and, that I get to help them create a family.
Yeah, that's really special too. And also I'm glad you brought that up because between that and the money, it's for some people it's worth it. And I don't know, it's so interesting. It really is.
Yeah, it's like incredibly interesting.
So that's the tea.
That's the tea, guys.
That's what Jess has been going through behind closed doors for the past year or so, especially these last like 2 months, hardcore going through, and like a lot
still going through it
just a little bit. And like a lot of your lows have been like
a result of that.
Her skin too, like the skin is from the hormones and the birth control, like the skin issues, which also affects your daily life and just
my mental health
in general. Yeah, so we just wanted to fill you guys in.
It affects my quality of sleep. It affects
quality of life.
Yeah,
for sure. But you got
you never know what someone's going through.
So true.
And it really is so true because even like someone will
you don't have to donate your eggs.
I get to. But even like yesterday I was or not yesterday, when I was flying back from LA with Nugget, I was taking him, I like left him off leash, like walking through the airport because I was having to walk through far as fuck to get to these gates. And I can't carry him on my shoulder the entire time. So
you don't have the leash?
No, I did.
Okay.
I do, but like I can't carry him in the carrier the entire time because that's like 30 pounds on my shoulder. Like that's, and I'm already like not supposed to be straining myself. So he's on the leash. I like get up to the gate. I'm like there 20 minutes before boarding, which like the doors close 10 minutes. They're rushing me. They're like, "Are you on this flight? I'm closing the doors right now." Blah blah blah, which was bullshit because there was like 10 people behind me, but they're like rushing me. I'm already like freaking out. I'm trying to like put Nugget in his crate, which don't get me wrong, like the crate isn't like the ideal size for him, but it works and he's comfortable in it. And I would never put Nugget in an uncomfortable situation. And he hops right in the crate now. Like he does not mind it.
Yeah.
Because he gets treats in there and he just lays down.
He gets treats in there.
He lays down and
does his thing.
He does not move. Like he's totally fine. Like I would never put him in an uncomfortable situation. But the hole on top to get in, which is like the easiest way to put him in because I just lift him in, he looks he looks large in the hole because the hole is like smaller than the rest of the crate because it extends under that. And this American Airlines lady, I'm putting him in there and I'm rushing. So I'm like kind of forcing him in, like I'm not like gently letting him jump in himself because they're yelling at me that the door's closing. She starts going, "Oh my God, this is horrible. He's way too big for that. I can't even watch this." The lady who works for American. And I'm like, "I promise he's fine." And Nugget goes in, lays right down.
They caught you on a bad day.
Lays right down. She's like, "Oh my God, this is horrible. He's supposed to be able to stand up and turn around comfortably." And I'm like, "He can," which he can. He can get up. And he was reviewed by a supervisor when I got there, weighed out.
How do you
think I got here?
Made it this far? You think I just snuck him in?
Yeah. Not to mention I flew with him there. Like,
lady, shut the fuck up.
And then,
goodbye. I have a flight to catch.
I know. And I'm like super emotional. I'm in so much pain, shoving Nugget in this carrier, trying to fucking carry him onto the plane while not like straining myself because I could actually fuck myself up. This lady is going full Karen on me, acting like I'm a dog abuser, one of the other American fucking Airlines guys is like, it's her dog. Let her do what she wants. And
Thank
I'm
God.
like, I was literally like, thank you. Like,
you had to be validated in that moment.
Like, of course, it's not the most ideal situation, but I promise he would rather do that and be with me all week than
be alone.
Yeah, be alone. Like,
or with the dog sitter or with me.
And he's like, I promise, guys, he was fine in the crate. So
I'm not a bad dog mom.
No, and it's just like, it's so annoying that someone would even insinuate that because of how good well taken care of Nugget is.
You know, she doesn't know that. She's just being stupid.
No, but and you know what? And I really think that she kind of like profiled me in a way because I was like in sweats and like an LA fucking like sweatshirt and like I didn't look like super presentable. Like I'm sure if I was like dressed super cute,
right,
she would have been like, cute doggy.
Yeah, right.
Instead of being, and I had my tattoos out too. I had the shirt tied around my my waist.
Karen.
Yeah, she looked at me and looked at Nugget and was like, bad dog mom.
Yeah,
you know,
because you looked.
Because I looked disheveled.
A mess. Yeah. Wow. Fuck that.
My eyes are like tearing up and I'm like red from crying and I'm just
probably
like,
thinks you're high or on drugs.
Something.
Like making some assumption.
I was like, and she was this older white blonde woman. I'm like,
I would have decked her in the face.
I was like, I promise he's like, I was not having it. The way, like the tone in which I said it, she was like, oh, can't even look at this. I need to walk away. I was like, yeah, walk away, stupid bitch.
I'd be like, mind your fucking business.
Yeah. So
okay.
Really fun stuff. Been thriving.
Transparent, y'all.
Been thriving, guys.
We bring you guys the highs and the lows and everything in between.
Mm-hmm. I'll let you guys know if I do this process again.
Yeah.
Because right now it's not looking like it.
Yeah. It left a bad taste in your mouth. That's for damn sure.
I think if I were to do it again, I would really want to do it in Miami.
Yeah, I mean, of course.
Being out,
why tratravel?
Well, I was excited at first. I was like, ooh, LA.
Trip,
like, they're going to fucking
take care of you.
No. They don't give a fuck about it. The clinic in LA, though, is way nicer than one here.
I'm sure.
Like, it was like Beverly Hills, like top of the line clinic.
But like the hotel and stuff, they put her in like bare minimum.
The Airbnb was shit.
Yeah,
I was bitching.
Yeah,
she
has a whole list of non-negotiables
that I created on this trip. Yeah, like I was like, if I ever do this again, I made a list that was like, you're flying me first class, motherfuckers. I'm not doing this fucking coach shit with Nugget again. The guy next, like, I have no fucking room for my feet. It's like so uncomfortable.
Not to mention the agency's banking. Like, they're making so much off of her. So it's like, that's why she has leverage to ask for these things. Cause it's like,
and it's like, why are you putting me,
motherfuckers?
Why are you putting me in a ratchet Airbnb? Which, don't get me wrong, the photos.
Nugget was like, yeah, fuck that Airbnb.
The photos looked nice. Like, they sent me the listing.
Yeah.
But like, they could have gotten me something nicer.
For sure.
For sure. So, again, just a lot. Just filling you guys in on what my life has been like.
Okay. We forgot to do our moment of gratitude last week. So let's bring it back for this week. And yeah, finish on a high note. We hope you guys found this interesting. We're spilling tea. I feel like people love to know about our personal life.
Yeah.
And
it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. You guys, give me your honest opinions. If you guys have any questions, if you guys are just fucking curious. Yeah. I'm super nosy and I've come to realize that I'm extremely nosy. So I would want to be able to ask questions. So if you guys want to ask questions, slide into my DMs.
Yeah, don't be afraid, brothers. We love hearing from you. Let's get into our moment of gratitude.
This week, I'm grateful for my health.
Yay.
Because I genuinely felt like dog shit the past few days. Yeah. And I'm just now starting to feel better. I still don't feel great. I still don't feel
100%.
No. And I'm supposed to fucking be in a bikini this weekend. And it doesn't seem like it's going to happen because I am so incredibly bloated. But yeah, I am grateful for my health.
And your ability for your body to bounce back and recover.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Today for my moment of gratitude, I'm grateful to our accountant, Robert.
Hell yeah.
Although he is, someone we pay for his services, I'm really grateful that we have someone in our life who understands about just the business and financial aspects of running a business. And I'm really glad that he's on our team in a sense. Like, I think it's really important, like every successful entrepreneur and business person and person ever, like they have a team of people who help get them there. And I'm just happy that Robert is like on our team. And I do feel like he's going to grow with us. He's already grown with us in the past 2 or 3 years that we've been working with him. And we just had like a business consultation with him today. And, you know, the stuff that Jess and I don't really know much about when it comes to business, which is not anything, but mostly anything, mostly financial aspects of running a business and like, you know, hitting certain benchmarks. And it's really nice to have some guidance, and it brings us a lot of peace and clarity. So that was really great. And we had a great meeting with him today, and it made me excited to move forward with Mood and our other exciting business ideas. It's a secret.
It really is.
No, but we also have a great business idea that we're probably going to start conceptualizing.
Yeah, so that's going to be really fun.
That's exciting too. I'm excited for inspiration. I'm grateful for inspiration as well.
And it was really dope because it came to us like while we were in the Bahamas,
laying on a beach.
Yeah,
living our best life.
I had like, the thing is, I had like seen a TikTok that kind of like sparked something inside me, and then like I brought it up to Liv, and we just started like
brainstorming,
conceptualizing it. We were like, wait, this is kind of fire.
And the crazy part is that I told you I've had this business idea before of this, you know, so like it, you know, to conceptualize it in a different way but still with that same core thing, I was like, this is cool because I've had this in the back of my mind for years.
Yeah, it's aligned, you know.
Yeah, so that's exciting. Brothers, we love you guys so much. We hope you enjoyed this, found it juicy, found it interesting. We will be back at it next week for another value-packed episode, or not. Maybe we'll just talk a bunch of shit. Who knows? If you guys like this episode, please take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories. You guys have been so great about it. We appreciate it so much. We love you.
If you guys can tag both Olivia and I, we'll always repost. And we love you guys. Have a great week.
I'll see you next week. Bye.